Welcome to Yoga for You, a channel tailored to helping you discover your very own unique yoga practice. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Sagacity Spotlight. Today's guest is Chelsea. She brings some pretty fun energy into the discussion today, and we talk about her life and how yoga became what it is to her. As a budding entrepreneur and yogi in the scene right now in the SoCal region, she talks to us a little bit about what it's like growing up in South LA and how survivability and learning how to survive is a key attribute in her path. She found dance at a young age. She's been dancing all of her life and describes how yoga has affected the dance career and dance career has affected the yoga. She's got some great things coming to the local SoCal region, so feel her out, hear her story, and leave a comment if something touches your heart. If you want to ask her a question, reach out to her on her website, all linked below. Thanks for being here. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. May you have a blessed day. Namaste. Hello, lovely souls. Thank you so much for tuning into this Sagacity Spotlight. I am joined today with the incredible Chelsea. She has been practicing yoga for over 20 years. She's been dancing her whole life. Born and raised in Southern California, she's highly adaptable, and we have her here today to discuss all sorts of beautiful yoga and dance combination stuff. So welcome, Chelsea. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Ty.
Yes. Yes, it's going to be fun. You're working on so many beautiful things, some things I've had the incredible opportunity to be the honor to be a part of. So super stoked to share with the world what you're working on and what's coming and how you got to this point, right? That's a huge part of this too.
Yes. So Tonal Temple is my current baby that I've been working on maybe about 2-3 years. And I feel like it kind of envelops everything that I am and that I have done up until this point, including the arts. It's basically wellness and healing, but also through the arts. So I'm currently doing some classes through the city of Riverside. And I'm going to kind of up the amount over the summer. I'm going to have some free classes coming up all of July and
Wow.
August. I'm also going to do a park jam every other week, but we might even do every week. And I'm currently locking down the park right now. Literally earlier this day, I was kind of going back and forth. So I'll have that info soon. But yeah, so I'm just really trying to get the momentum going with Tonal Temple. And I would like to open up a studio at some point. I'm thinking like next year. But yeah, and until then, I just want to kind of bring the good times, bring the love, bring everything in an open and safe environment.
Mm.
Um, with the park jams, there's going to be a lot of music. I'm an artist, I'm a poet, I'm a producer, and I did a lot of work that way for a while. And while I was practicing on my journey, and then dancing, and I feel like with teaching dance, I've done so many styles because feel like I'm very adaptable. Kind of like that's kind of why I just said that because I've been kind of living this life, kind of independent kind of life for a while. Maybe had a job like a couple of times, and it's a lot of work, but it speaks to my personality and lifestyle that I can't really work any other way. And so yeah, I feel like with the dance, I'm gonna have a lot of dance classes, which I'm highly experienced in. I grew up in a dance studio. Uh,
Wow.
Still has a dance studio over in San Fernando, and yeah, I've just kind of been all up in the arts, and my world,
Yeah.
and then survival too. Just kind of being independent, growing up near a big city. Um, it's very like obvious the paths sometimes that you can go, because if all you need to do is just have a creative way, and you can make your way kind of. This lady summed it up for me. once at a farmer's market. I worked a farmer's market for a summer, the Hollywood farmer's market. And there was some freelance chef that would come by, and we'd always set things aside. She said exactly what I always think, I just never know how to say it. And she said that she's like a freelance chef. She didn't come here at first to do that, but she's like, you know what they say about LA? If you know how to do anything, someone will pay you to do it. And I was like,
Hey.
so I just kind of from there, like just having that energy was very inspiring. And yeah, I just moved out here a few years ago to Riverside, like 3 years ago. So and I love it out here. So I'm glad to really begin this and begin it out here.
Yeah, I think you picked a great spot to do it. I feel like your background is huge, and learning the things like survival, those are so important and imperative almost to being able to make it. And the life of independence, you develop networking skills, for instance, that are crucial. And I know we've talked because we've worked together briefly, and you're a fantastic networker. Like that's so huge in what you're trying to do. But I want to take a step back, and I want to ask you, because I'm very, very curious, where does tonal tempo come from?
So tonal tempo, again, music is huge in my life, and so it's the safe space to do what you do, so a safe space to tone out whatever that is, and tonal, and there's vibes that go with it. And I also think sometimes, from beats to singing bowls, there's a reverberation in in the temple. There's a reverberation in your body. Your body is your temple. Where you practice, even if I've had to make a space in like the worst apartments that I lived in, and that's your temple, and it absolutely is going to serve its function because you said it is, and that's your safe space. So it's just creating that safe. I keep saying that, but I literally have worked with like a lot of different kinds of people, even like people with disabilities and stuff. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't ever want anybody to ever think they can't do something, because once we get adult, sometimes I say this, like, I love adults, but when it comes to children or teenagers, they're much more fun because they're not tainted yet. Or not tainted, but no, the world didn't get to them, yet. And I want people to know that they can do anything, anytime. Like, you can do anything.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it because I wasn't sure, but it sounds like everything I had an inkling that it could reference, it does to some degree, because there's so many like potential facets of like tonal tempo. And I'm like, I wonder how that came to be. And that's beautiful though. I mean, I really particularly love what you said about the tempo, how important it is to create a space wherever you are. I mean, it's prioritizing your practice. Like it's beyond a priority when you really feel it take root. And I love talking about general concepts like this, because for some people, maybe they're stumbling on this video and they haven't really gotten hooked by yoga. They're still doing it because it makes their body look good, or because what infinite possibilities, right? But once you get that hook, and once this is completely shifting my confidence, my persona, my attitude on life, my gratitude, what's coming to me, then it's like, okay, yeah, whatever situation, whatever space I have, this is a priority. And you embodied that in the name. So it's beautiful. Like, gosh, like gorgeous.
Hey.
Of course. So what does yoga mean to you? It's a big one, I know.
I like kind of what Kristen says, how yoga meets you where you're at. And it's absolutely true. And even hearing Kristen say this really only a few years ago in my 20-something years of practice, right? And I think that's what this is about. And even kind of, yeah, okay, because I'll just keep going all the ways. But going back to what Kristen said, about meeting you where you're at. It's very true, because you are at different stages also in your life. So the minute you start your journey, whether you stop or start, you started it. Like whether you like it or not, like you started it. So I love that yoga is very real and honest. Um, it really the whole holding the mirror up, but it's absolutely true. And yoga people are some of the more raw people that I meet out of everywhere. Come from the dance world. When you meet yoga people, it's much more. They bring their whole everything to practice, whether they realize it or not. Um, even if they're quiet or whatever, and that's all of it. Good and bad. Mostly good, I find.
Yeah.
So I think yoga is just very um, inclusive and reflective of just where you're at different times. I don't have it's crazy. I don't have this story of how I got into it. I've heard some people, they have these really interesting stories of the moment, that they started yoga. I was introduced as a teenager and it was yoga for dancers. I was with it. You didn't need to.
Wow.
I was down, but I was already down, But I stopped, and it wasn't until a random 6:30 a.m. class at the gym. Like now I'm in college and I don't ever wake up that early for self-improvement. Like I hardly do. And I woke up, this chick had me hooked. I was up. I don't even know why I got up, but I started, and that's when I understood. Like I was in the middle at like a gym, a class. It's 6:30 a.m. and there's from seniors to like kids my age to all this stuff, and just the way she spoke, and that's when I was starting to see the art of teaching too, because I was already teaching at this point. So it was just, and the ahas keep coming, and now here 20 years later Kristen says some crazy stuff and I'm like, whoa, snap. Like, and yeah, so I think it's that you just keep unlocking, and yoga just keeps opening you up like the little Russian dolls.
I love it. I love your energy. You do bring it, like you really do. And it's so cool. I mean, you led with saying, oh, I don't have an amazing, beautiful, sudden moment, but then you described your amazingly beautiful, sudden moment in college at 6:30 a.m. So you do. And that's good. Yeah. So a little background. I know Chelsea from our time at Western Yoga College, this old, beautiful studio that no longer exists, unfortunately, but is still living in our hearts and our minds all the time. She would come in and I don't know if I first saw you at teacher training or if it was something like this Sunday morning practices, Ashtanga. We would have practiced Ashtanga together. And she would actually be practicing second series. And I remember being so fascinated with the fact that she would come in and some days you would practice second series and then you practice primary series. And like, you don't know this, but that was one of the things that inspired me to also start doing, I didn't do it, but maybe 3 times, right? Because that's a lot. I mean, primary, second series, and then going into primary series of Ashtanga, that's pretty much 3 straight hours of yoga in the morning on a Sunday morning, starting at 7 a.m. So I did it a couple times, and you were a huge inspiration because I saw you and I was like, yeah, I want to be like that. I got to do that. So thank you for that.
I miss it.
Yes.
I still jump on to Scott sometimes. Definitely.
Yeah, he still does his online, which is nice, but it's not the same. It's not the same. Sometimes, and not all the time even, but sometimes on those Sunday mornings, it was like one long. And those moments, time stood still. And when you have 25 people in a small room and everyone is breathing exactly at the same moment together, they're in it. It's such hard to explain with words. It's just an experience, but you transcend the physical with everybody there, and everyone kind of becomes this more. So anyway. Yeah.
Awesome. It's all good, Don. I love it. That was beautiful.
Yeah. So tell me, what are you working on? I see you're doing some movements here on YouTube. We'll definitely link all that goodness below, but you're doing it in a very eclectic, very beautiful, unique, kind of old school way. And I've given you props to it, but I want to hear you like explain it. What's going on? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
So, okay, I'm currently trying to just build up my social media presence, of course, like I guess we all are, and then just in correspondence with the stuff that I'm doing on the outside and community outreach and stuff like that. I am shooting more. I want like better content. I have videos up on YouTube, but I need better quality content. And I was blessed a few months ago with a grant, and I was just like, okay, like I've got to get some quality stuff and just really mash that on my website that I'm currently doing. It's a lot of learning curves and stuff. But it's good. It's like fun in the process, and then yeah, and then hooking up with people. It's what I've kind of always done. I've shot projects before. I've had to reach out to people. And yeah, and so I'm very blessed that right now I have a good network too of people to pull from, because it's not easy. Like, you can't just round up people. Like, it seems like it's easy, but it's a little tricky sometimes. And you always have to kind of just, I don't know, always have like kind of a backup plan when it comes to like the number of people or whatever, because it's just always kind of like that. And then just really utilize like what you have. So I've just been doing more little clips. I dance. I do it anyway. I'm dancing up on YouTube, on IG, on TikTok. I'm doing it anyway. So now I'm just kind of structuring it a little more with some purpose with Tonal Temple, and yeah, just bringing in some yogis, reaching out to people, because I don't know, I love it. I love people. And what do they say? If you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go with a group, go with people.
Love that saying.
With music, it's the same way. You need a team. Like, it's very hard, and even then it's still a solo mission. It's still something you've got it that's comes back down to you. So yeah.
You're doing good. You're doing good. I think one thing that's so unique about what you're offering online, from what I've seen, and I don't want to say this and like lock you in, obviously, anything can change at any time, but the fact that I know how challenging it is to link up my schedule with another yogi to come and just perform me and them, right? You take it to the nth extreme, and you have 2 or 3 other demo people. I could not imagine the communication and the networking and the planning that it takes to coincide that and have these people come on, and it's got so many added benefits. And it's just like, I can't say enough how much respect I have for you for taking that next step and doing that, because I mean, how challenging is that alone in recording that you've experienced so far?
Yeah, it's the challenge is mostly I try to overshoot. Like, it depending on how many people I want, I'll just get extra people, because it's kind of a no fail that people's schedules, whatever it is, but things fall through. So it is I would say so far, where you saw the amount of people, I probably reached out to like 2 more off of that. So yeah, and before I even think, before, it's like I would reach out, say for like a music video or something like that, I would reach out to people. But sometimes, like, I had to do a good old fashioned Craigslist, and I hate doing that. But at least people will respond, and I'm, with whatever you're offering and stuff like that. And sometimes I was telling myself, so far, I was like, please, I don't want to have to bust a Craigslist. I don't want to do that. And so far I haven't had to, but it's like, yeah. And I know what you mean with like the old school, because that will never die. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but when it comes down to the networking and being organized and the outreach and just good communication, that is forever. Like, you have to be on it, and keep the communication going, because yeah, people are only as engaged. Everybody else has stuff going on and stuff. So at least being clear is, and so being clear is the thing, which helps me be clearer and be more professional with every project. I'm always learning, and now doing this on a yoga some yoga vibes and more TikTok. It's a lot more fun. But then understanding where I need to level up in that, so it's all the always.
Yes, every day's learning. Every
Mhm.
day. And I think what I mean by old school is just the fact that there's so many like demo people involved. I don't see that in anything recent. And that goes exactly with what you're saying as far as the communication and the clarity. And that is part of it. Like that's all I'd say values, that are required for that level of output. But it's, yeah, super, super cool to see. Why, what ignited you? So was there a moment where you just said, I'm going for it, and you put everything aside and is there a turning point that you remember?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. So this was 2012. So it was 2012 and I had a whole few situations happen and fall apart. And really the moral of the story at that moment was just self-reliance, because when these situations kind of happened, I realized, oh, I was actually a little reliant, on this person for this, and I was relying on this person for that. And then also just, your travels, your healing. Yeah, I don't know, to be able to make a change, like a change in myself. I saw a big change in myself from 2012 to 2013. And I was just being diligent at that point. I was just like, I gotta get this right. Like, I just want to be on the right path, not like anything, like I was on the wrong path, but I maybe became a little too complacent in a few
Mm.
situations. And then, yeah, I ended up moving back because I'm from more like South LA. I was born in Torrance, but I grew up in Huntington Park, which is like Southgate, Compton, Linwood, ish, or like the surrounding cities. And so, as much as I love it, there's a lot of that I don't want to go back to. And here I think I was in like South Central off of San Pedro and 42nd, like living with my friend. I was just like, okay, let's figure this out, So yeah, it was just my interpersonal relationships. And again, it's like all comes down to me. It all comes down to how, I don't know. I wasn't really living my truth for a bit. And anytime you do that in any way, like, you are off course. Like, and then it just turns in, I was depressed at times. I didn't even know. I was drinking like way too much. I was doing way too much. And then I was just kind of like, you know what? I can't do this, and I gotta be, for me, like I know how to hustle, I know how to do all this stuff, yet I just found myself just stripped and just starting from zero, and so that was inspiring though, because that's when you find out what you're made of, is when you gotta, like, get knocked down, like you gotta come back up, always, always. You don't have a, I don't know, I never felt like I had like a real choice. You can't, so like, yeah. And then about then just learning, like with music, I had to really learn like some other ways of like recording myself. I was kind of reliant. I had to learn, to kind of take control of a business I had at the time and stuff. And so, yeah, I had to like do a lot of taking control, because I just was not living my truth. I was just falling off my track. I was doubting myself and stuff. And it's just growing pains when I look back at it now. I think we all do that at some point. And I think the point is to just learn. Doesn't matter when you get the message, just get the message. Like, at some point, be open to receiving the message, I guess.
I love that. It's so beautiful, because we all do get to that point where, whatever, it's infinite possibilities. It's hard to even pinpoint, but using just your example where you don't even, we sometimes don't even realize that we slip into that state of like, okay, now I'm drinking more, and it can be such a social thing, or it can be such a release thing, and we can justify it. And there's nothing wrong with drinking, but there's a recognition that is important, some form of check-in, whether it is with a friend or whether it's with a parent, a grandparent, or like whatever. to check in with yourself and say, like, how am I doing right now? How's my heart? Having somebody, it's great if you can have somebody to help you open you up to that. But I think it's more lasting if you can eventually get to that point where you can do self check-ins. And it sounds like that's kind of what you experienced in such a profound way, where you're just like, no, this is it. So that was 2012, 2013. You went through a transformation. Sounds like at the time you were still dealing with music and producing and business. How did that begin to segue into yoga? Was that when you came to Riverside?
Oh yeah. So that definitely kind of brought me into Riverside more. So I always wanted to get certified. And that was another thing that I was just like, because I would teach yoga here and there, but it was just these quick little workshops and I wasn't certified. So I finally, I was kind of like looking around out here, and then I, stumbled upon Scott, and I liked his approach. He's very just like, just show up, his whole and so it was just getting back into practicing and then teaching yoga, because I always knew I wanted to teach yoga more. Like I already this was a little bit of a plan that I kind of had. And something had to give, because with dance and then doing things full time, like choreography is one thing, I love it, but then to teach classes and stuff, it's a whole other thing, and it's a lot. And so and something that more agrees with my spirit. I've done all the ends of dance, from like the commercial down to like theater and stuff, and it's like intense, and sometimes this isn't how I like to be sometimes too. Like just everything's kind of like stressful sometimes. So and that's how I was like, I gotta do something. I need to be chill. I want to live this life. Like I really want to live this life more now, because it's my life. Like again, that's when I got deeper, meditating longer, and I was just like doing more yoga and stuff, and just yoga really did save me. Like it really did. Because I don't know, I guess, music is an outlet and stuff. Breath work is a whole other thing. Like, because you easily get distracted by someone else's beautiful creativity. You know what I mean? It was like, it was that stone silence music that was like, what was like the real, it was like all of that. So and then coming out here, it was so seamless. Like, and then I'm meeting people. I just felt like, this is the move, like,
Yes, I feel it for you. It's so obvious. I mean, you're working with some pretty powerful ladies and gentlemen, I know, behind the scenes and involved in it all. But it's just, there's something that happens when you throw yourself into, Joseph Campbell calls it your bliss, follow your bliss, and doors open up where there was only walls. It's kind of like that, if you just throw yourself not blindly to something, but if you have an inkling in your heart, if something lights you up or ignites you, and then you feel like there's a pathway there for you, even if you don't know how that path is going to unfold, if you just go in that general direction and it becomes seamless, like that is a huge omen, a huge indication of like, okay, you're on the right path. If you're trying to do something and you just get slammed in the face, there's a certain essence of perseverance that is important that we can understand as an entrepreneur or an artist. But when it's seamless, it's a different ballgame. And it's just like, okay, I see now. Let's keep going. Next step.
Exactly. Yeah. That's so far so good. I love it.
Yeah, you're doing good. So then what's something big you're looking forward to? It sounds like you've got some park events coming up. This is gonna go live before July. So if you want to go ahead and list the park dates, I'm also going to put them in the description for anybody checking it out. But do you know any of those dates or any of those?
Well, yes, but I don't want to lock.
That's fine.
Yeah, but we will say that pretty much it's going to be just about every weekend, because I feel like that's kind of where it's headed to. But for sure, it's every other weekend. And it, again, I don't want to say anything yet, but because I just want to make sure. But so June, On Wednesdays, I will be having some free de-stress classes and acro yoga meetup for June. And then July, 3 days during the week of jazz, tap, yoga, de-stress, and some more yoga.
Mhm.
And then on with the park jams, and the park jams will start in June, going all through August. So it'll be changing, but I have everything is up to date for sure on my social media, and will be on my website. And then yeah, hopefully I can, when I find out everything, I'll just send it to you. But yeah, just bringing out music, having the music going, having some classes. There's gonna for sure be an acro yoga jam at everyone, you know, at least an hour, 2 hours, just come by. No experience required. Don't worry, you'll be fine. I won't flip you around too high. So yeah, snacks and free snacks, free, and all of this stuff is free. Yeah, I just want to meet you. I want to say hello. So come out.
Yes, come experience this lovely soul's energy out there. That is definitely the best way to go about it. We're going to link Chelsea's Instagram and her website below, and that's going to be the quickest, most sure way to stay up to date with all of her incredibly hilarious TikToks. By the way, they're really funny. They're really good. And just general updates and fun things that she's going to be offering to the SoCal Inland Empire Riverside region. So super cool. Well, I want to ask you, what does the Ankh mean to you?
Oh, I mean everything. Definitely the basis, the symbol of life. But it also, it served a functionality. It was the shape of how they made sandals too. It's like a basic shape of how they would throw stuff together. And just that alone, like I remember reading in, this was several years ago, to like, yeah, how they saw the Ankh, and there was all these other amazing ways, you know. I mean, besides life, which is huge. So it speaks to me in that, yeah, the life and the circle of life and just everything coming together to create new life, but also the versatility of what it is and what it represents, and also how several things can be true at the same time about something, about our perception of something, you know. So this means a lot of things, and several to yeah, to the creator.
Yeah, I love it. I trust that it was just a question that keep coming into my head. It came into my head consistently, and I've noticed your tattoos before, and they're so really good, and it's right there, like right on both sides. It's like one of the first things you see, and so it's like I know that has to have some profound meaning to you, and I just wanted to touch on that a little bit and see what came through. So thanks for opening up a little bit about your work. I know that's always not something that is super like public, but
Right.
thanks for going with it. So what are some things that has inspired you on your journey, whether that be books or any form of lectures, literature, or movies?
You know, with yoga, especially now, I feel like everything is, but yeah, I'm currently reading this book, Seth Speaks. I don't know if you heard of Seth Speaks. And Evelyn, I'm borrowing it from Evelyn as a swap, because she borrowed a book of mine. But yeah, I'm in it. I'm only in a little bit of it, but it's it's bars, just hands down. This guy is speaking through this woman, and he's just, yeah, kind of talking about life and our approaches, you know, to life, and kind of like how we see ourselves and stuff. Um, I can't think of some of the book titles, and but I know I have some lying around. But all the books that I read at WYC, I read a lot of their library, like a good little chunk of their library. And I just thought it was really, really good. So yeah, I don't know. All what is it? The Light from the Heart book, that was kind of like one of the training books, and that one was a big eye-opener starting my journey. Yeah, and just about anything now is kind of like bing, 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 bing. I'm just like all of it right now. So I don't have a special one right now. I want to go back though. Reordering. I can't find my book of 48 laws, but man, I want to reread it. And so I'm reordering it. It's in my little wish list. So my next round of Amazon, I'm rereading 48 laws.
I love it. Yeah, some of those books I've never heard before, so that's intriguing to me to maybe check them out. So really cool. Say that again.
I'll send you the titles of the actual law.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We'll have those linked below too for anybody who's also intrigued by those books. But Chelsea, I want to open it up and see if there's anything that you're feeling called to channel for anybody right now who may be listening. What is something that is coming through you to anybody?
As in a person or like a thought or anything?
Anything.
Okay. I'm going to stop looking at the dictionary because it says I think really truth. And I don't know. There's been a lot of theme with that and being clear and clarity. And it's been a kind of a theme because I felt like I went off maybe a bit like my throat chakra for a while. Maybe I was like imbalanced because I felt like I wasn't clear explaining things for a period of time. It's just a short period of time. So yeah, just being very clear and clean with your energy. Like now more so, I feel now more than ever, you know, because we're, you know, life in general is it infiltrates and things infiltrate, but we really do take in these images. There's some little stat I read that our eyes see like 65,000 images a day. But if you break it down, every little thing is an image. So it maybe
Totally.
If you're looking at everything, it's an image. And then how much some of that stuff gets in your subconscious.
Mm.
And yeah, just being really clear to see the difference, I think. So truth and clarity is big for me right now.
Yeah, discernment. Sounds like that's kind of hidden in there. Subliminal too. I mean, there's so much of that. Being aware of the things that throw you off. That's all part of it. There's a lot happening out there right now where there's a lot of messages. I mean, you can't go anywhere without seeing an ad. And you know what I mean? That's just the world we live in right now. That is playing a role in what we value and what we prioritize. Our judgments towards self and towards others. Yeah, that's really, really good sound advice.
Thank you. Yeah, because especially like it's one thing when, you know, you see these things, like when you see information pop up and, you know, you're a little older and you're kind of like, okay, I can see this, but there are people that are speaking very convincingly right now on social media, on TikTok or whatever, about all kinds of stuff. And I know a lot of young 20-somethings. I know a lot of high school kids. And sometimes they hang on to every word, you know, they're really listening. They're really out here like checking you out and they're regurgitating the information. So just being sure that your intentions are clear when you're even speaking, like why, what's the why behind this? And yeah, then just speaking from your best truth the best way you can, of course. But yeah, that's the only thing, because I want to, you know, discernment is a big thing, because I don't know, who knows, you know, what we perceive as what or what, and you know, so yeah, just want to make sure people can find the truth for themselves.
Yes, that's beautiful. And to the people listening, I am confident that if you hang around Chelsea and go to some of her events or just check it out online, you will find truth within you, because it's that constant seeking that people around us tend to do. And when the people around you are seeking for the truth, you can't help but seek too. So
Yes.
take that to heart and let it be. Check out everything Chelsea has to offer below. The links are below. And I just really want to say thank you for coming on. And I'm going to be closely watching with a full and open heart for you as you continue to brave these waters. You've got wind at your sails and you're going to go fast and far. So
Thank you so
cheers.
much.
You're so welcome.
Hey everybody, really hope you enjoyed that talk. It was beautiful to have that experience with that shared guest. We have a lot of very useful information in the description section below, so be sure to check it out. I've also linked any and all videos with that individual in the description below, so check those out as well. It's an honor to bring this footage to you, and I hope you can come back and continue to deepen your practice. Namaste.